All right, in this section, we're going to talk about utilizing our body weight and our momentum to our advantage, right? Young kickers, they love to try to lean back. They love to try to whip out of kicks and have their body weight go in all different directions except towards the target that they're trying to hit it. So that's what we're going to work on in this section here. We're going to learn about how to maintain and keep that momentum going towards that target, right? So a common phrase that I use with all my instruction is you want to keep your shoulders in front of your toes. No matter what part of the process you're in, whether you're in your starting stance, your first step, your drive step, you always want to try to maintain my shoulders in front of my toes. So when I'm coming in to kick this football, right, and I go to make contact, boom, I want my shoulders in front of my toes, right? I almost want to be looking back at this football so that my momentum and my body weight are going to take this ball with me to the target, right? So I'll go through a step real quick and we'll go over my shoulders in front of my toes for each part of the process, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So when I'm here in my starting spot, right, you can see I got my shoulders in front of my toes, right? Now, this is going to be hard for those kickers that are jab steppers, because in order to actually take a jab, you got to shift everything back to pick that leg up, right? So this is only this part of the process is really only for the guys that are two-step into the kick instead of a jab and a two-step. So I got my shoulders in front of my toes, right, when I'm going to kick. Now I get that signal from the holder to go. Boom, I lean a little bit more forward. I take my first step. Now I still got my shoulders in front of my toes. I'm still in a good position to push here. Now this is going to be the same no matter if you're a jab stepper or a two-step kicker. No matter what, that process is going to be the same. So I got my shoulders in front of my toes, and I'm in a really good position to push right here, right? So I'm going to use my body weight, I'm going to use my momentum to drive into this football. And I go to drive, boom, and I got my shoulders in front of my toes still, right? I'm going to kick this ball, and I got everything going forward. I got everything going towards the target, right? Boom, and then when I'm done, boom, you're naturally going to lean back a little bit because the leg's going to want to take you up a little bit. But then when you're finished, you want to try to make sure that your shoulders are doing the best job they can of staying in front of the toes too. Why is that important? It's going to add you a couple more yards to your kick, but it also is going to make sure that your misses, your ugly looking hits, are still muscled down to that target. You're still driving it to where you want it to go. So common thing that young guys like to do to try to get the shoulders in front of their toes and the body weight going forward is they love to try to bend at the waist to do it, right? They're going to go here and try to make contact with the ball. I'm over-exaggerating to prove a point. Nobody's actually this deep, but you got to see what I'm talking about. So when we're here, we're not really putting our weight forward. I still got all my weight in the back of my heel because I'm sticking my bottom out here to compensate for my shoulders being forward. So I'm really not providing that weight going in front of my toes. I'm really just shifting things forward and tricking myself to feeling like that. Secondary is when I come through now, I'm bent to the waist, I can't really get my leg up very high. It's not very efficient, right? However, if I'm standing up straight, right, my leg can come up much higher. So there's two reasons to that. You don't want to bend at the waist because you're really kind of tricking yourself into thinking that you're actually getting your weight forward when really you're not. And secondary, when you're bent at the waist, it's going to hurt your follow through. It's going to hurt a couple different things actually, but most importantly is the follow through. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure that your chest is high, but your shoulders are in front of your toes. So if I'm doing it this way, right, I got my chest high, I'm sticking my chest out, but I still got my shoulders in front of the toes. So I'm coming to kick a ball, whoop, and I still got everything in front. I still got everything going towards the target. And again, that's going to help your power a little bit, but really it's going to help when you accidentally miss-hit that ball, they're still going to give it a chance. It may be ugly looking kick, but you're going to drive it to your target. You're going to drive it downfield. So if you feel yourself, when you're done kicking, if you feel yourself leaning back, you're going to know that needs improvement. If you're kicking and you feel yourself flying out and heading off in this direction, you're going to know that you're going to need some improvement. So make sure that everything is going towards the target or where your aiming point is.